What's up, everybody? Long month of September for me so far. I've been really busy at work. My schedule's been flipping. The hours have been changing like crazy. NFL Week 3 is upon us tomorrow. Well, Thursday nighters underway. The Monday nighters are ahead of us tomorrow. Jacksonville +3 at LA Chargers -3. A lot of this game comes down to Justin Herbert and how his health is. Obviously, with the cracked rib cartilage or whatever the rib injury is that he is dealing with, that will be key for me. If you like the Jags, get them before this number drops to 3 or less. And again, that's only if Herbert is listed as out, then that number is definitely going to fade in the Jags' favor. And if you like the Chargers, get in now because if Herbert's playing or they think he's going to be able to play most of the game, be it an injection or whatever he ends up getting or needing to deal with this rib injury, then you might want to jump on the Chargers number while it's low right now within a field goal. So those are what I would tell you to do on this one. I'm going to bet Trevor Lawrence over 0.5 interceptions, Austin Ekeler anytime TD, Austin Ekeler over receiving and rushing yards depending on that number. If that's anywhere at 100 or under, I will probably jump all over that. I'll run with the LA Chargers on the money line. I think the Chargers will win this game somewhere around 30-17 if Herbert's in the lineup. And if Herbert's out, then I think the Chargers still have enough to get the job done, but I think the score will be lower, like 17-14, 20-17, something like that. I'm not really going to put a lot of money on this game outside of a bit of money on those props. Green Bay +1 at Tampa Bay. Here's another crazy game. Tampa Bay has no wide receivers because of injuries and suspensions. Obviously, everyone knows about Marshawn Lattimore and the Mike Evans incident, the most recent incident between those two. Anyways, I think that this game's going to come down to the running backs, the three running backs in this game. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Leonard Fournette. They are, what are they in the league? Fifth in the NFL is Fournette. And I believe Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are top 5 as well, if I remember correctly. The over-under in this game, by the way, is 42. The over-under in the Jacksonville game was 42.5. If Herbert's out, I definitely like the under in that. Sorry to go back to that one. Thought I'd mention that. Bucks receivers, like I said, what is going to happen? Whose offensive line is going to hold up the best? Both of these teams' strengths might be their run defense. I do like Tampa's defense more than I like Green Bay's defense. Brady, Rodgers, two great quarterbacks. I don't think they have anyone to throw to, and they're both going to look more pedestrian, even though we all know they're amazing. And that should not reflect negatively on either one of them at all. Nobody will even think that way with them unless they're under the age of 14 and just starting to watch football. I'd stay away from this game. I'd play the under in this game because of the lack of offensive weapons on both sides of the ball outside of the quarterbacks. I think I'll roll with Leonard Fournette over 72.5 rushing yards. Aaron Jones over 52.5 rushing yards. Tampa Bay wins this like 17-14, 20-17, 21-17, something like that. They will cover that small number of 1 if I like them by a field goal, obviously. LA Rams -3.5 at the Arizona Cardinals. What a crazy game by the Cardinals last week. I don't think that you can rely on that week in, week out. Playing the LA Rams, who have got off to a slow start. I thought they'd be a lot better than that, obviously. I picked them over the Bills in week 1, which, well, that didn't work out in my favor. Let's leave it at that. Over-under in this game's 48.5. Sean McVay is 10-1 against the spread and straight up versus the Cardinals. Sean McVay is 5-11 against spread and 6-1 straight up versus Kingsbury. Cooper Kupp has a TD reception 8 straight games. One more and he will set a new NFL record if he can get a TD in the game. So I am obviously going to play Cooper Kupp anytime TD. 100 wins you 66. I'm also going to make a play on Zach Ertz to get an anytime touchdown in this game. That pays you $2.20. LA Rams on the money line, I like over 48.5. I think this is like a 30-27 win for the Rams or the Cardinals. I think it's a field goal game. Neither team winning this would surprise me. I'm not going to place a wager on this outside of props or maybe an in-game bet, because I do like to do some in-game betting as well. I will roll with the Rams to come out on the right side of this game, though, and pick them to win and cover. Atlanta Falcons +1 at Seattle, -1, over under 42. Geno Smith versus Marcus Mariota in this one. 10th and 11th in QBR so far this season through 2 weeks. No Jamal Adams, safety for Seattle. He is out. I expect Cordarrelle Patterson to actually take advantage and have a big game. Pete Carroll, that is with no Jamal Adams. Pete Carroll's 15-4 against spread without Russell Wilson as his starting QB. I like Seattle at home. Seattle's always strong at home. They have amazing fans. It's a tough place to play in Seattle. I'm going to roll with Seattle, a small number with two bad teams playing each other. I like Cordarrelle Patterson over 58.5 rushing, receiving yards combined, and an anytime TD. Those pay 86 and 137 respectively. I like Seattle 24-21, something along those lines. San Fran -1.5 at Denver +1.5. I don't know what Denver is doing with their coach. I know he's a rookie. Got to give him time. He's never had to deal with clock management before. Okay, cut him some slack for a few weeks, but how long is too long, or when is it too late in the tough AFC division they're playing in, which I have them finishing last in to begin with, but I know a lot of people like them to win the division. Division's tough. You could have flipped a coin with all four teams pretty much. I'm not going to argue with anybody who picked any of the four teams to win. Me, I have it KC, Raiders, Chargers, and then the Broncos. So I'm right with two at least. Anyways, Jimmy Garoppolo back under center for San Francisco. What an unfortunate way for him to be under center, but I think this is good for the 49ers going forward. I just really, especially going up like Nathaniel Hackett, clock management, all that stuff. I think Russell Wilson, he could have a big game. He does have 37 TD passes versus San Francisco, but I lean San Fran to get this right with Garoppolo. I like San Fran to win this game, 21-20, 27-21, something like that. And I like Brandon Ayuk for an anytime TD. And just so you guys know, I'm not playing the under in this one, but the unders are 6-1 so far this year in primetime games. Next game I'm talking about is the Monday Nighter, if I remember correctly. Dallas Giants +1 for Dallas. Giants, the small home favorite. Over under of 39 tells you a lot in this game. I probably will play the under in this game. Dallas has won 9 of the last 10 between these two teams. My God, Micah Parsons is so fucking fun to watch. I wish he did not wear that fucking star on his uniform. This is what I'm all about. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Fuck Dallas in every way. Micah, fuck. I can't not watch a Dallas game because I just want to watch Micah Parsons play. Anyways, Daniel Jones is 2-5 against the spread as a favorite and 8-12 against spread at home. Cooper Rush could join Staubach and Garrett as only Dallas QBs to win their first 3 starts. I think the Cowboys defense tees off on the Giants offensive line. I don't think Barkley gets going. I like Ezekiel Elliott. I like him to score a TD. I like him to go over his rushing total as long as it's under 100 yards. I think he can reach the 100-yard mark this weekend if he stays healthy. Cowboys win and cover. Jones over 0.5 INTs throwing. I think this is like a 24-17, 21-14, 21-17, something like that type of game. Cowboys come out on top and remain in the hunt in the NFC East, giving the Giants their first loss of the season. Giants are not an unbeaten team. I don't care how easy their schedule is. All 4 teams in the NFC East have a soft schedule. That's why I like my Eagles a lot this year, because they have like the third easiest schedule. Dallas has like the fourth or fifth easiest schedule. Washington and the Giants have like a top 6 easy schedule as well. So I think all them teams' records might be a little inflated this year and make them all look a little better than they are. But hey, I'll take the wins as an Eagles fan. Better enjoying my Sunday after an Eagles win than an Eagles fucking loss, I can tell you that much. Next up, Kansas City at Indy. Chiefs are 5.5 point road favorites, over under a 50.5. Colts, what a dreadful start. Matt Ryan, what a time for Atlanta to get rid of him. Or that sounds a little harsh. You don't say that about a great quarterback. Atlanta timed that well with Matt Ryan's age and the way he continues to be a little bit less than what we expect of him each year going forward. Andy Reid's 47-25-1 against spread on the road as Kansas City's coach. Colts are 0-4 against spread their last 4 overall. Matt Ryan is 0-5-1 against spread in his last 5 starts. Jonathan Taylor, he's great, but how much is he going to get the ball in his hands, at least in handoffs, if the Colts defense can't shut out Mahomes? And I don't see any way that the Colts defense can shut down Mahomes. I think Mahomes and Kansas City are out to prove something, and I think they're going to easily win that. Well, I shouldn't say easily. They are going to win that division, and they are not going to be out of first place in that division at any point this year. If you want to call that easy, so be it, but I don't think they're going to win the division by more than 2 games. So whichever way you want to look at that, so be it. Travis Kelce leads all tight ends in reception yards and receptions for first down so far this year. We are early, I realize that. And back to the San Fran game, I think Kittle gets going. I like Kittle for an anytime TD in that game as well, with Garoppolo back at QB. Back to Kansas City, Mahomes over 2.5 TD pass pays you 110 and over 287.5 passing yards. Kelce an anytime TD wins you 72. Jonathan Taylor, I do like him to have a decent game, over 106.5 rushing receiving yards combined. Next up might be the best game to watch of the week. Bills minus 5.5 point road favorites in Miami, over under a 53 in this one. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Stephon Diggs are the top 3 receiving yards leaders through 2 weeks of the season, and they are all in this game. Tua with that big comeback over Baltimore last week. Baltimore absolutely collapsed. What was that in the fourth fucking quarter? What was it, like 12 minutes left or whatever? It was early in the fourth quarter. Baltimore shuts them down. They get the ball. They chew up, 17, 24, 27 seconds off the clock. Three and out series for them. They didn't run the ball once. How do you not at least hand the ball off on first down, not first and second down, and run the play clock down, eat time off the clock? You had the big lead, 35-14 or whatever the fuck it was at that time. I don't think they were at 21 points yet. But anyways, Miami, congratulations. That was a hell of a comeback. Tua, 4 TDs in the fucking fourth quarter, 6 TDs total. That was unbelievable, and I am a huge Baltimore supporter. I had them to win. Miami, you fucked me last week. Hopefully you don't fuck me this week. This is the game of the week. I am betting Miami to cover the spread. I think Buffalo wins this by 3 or 4 points. I think this game is tight right down till the end. I don't think either team is really going to get away from the other. I think this is like a 35-31, 38-35, 31-28 type game. So I'm definitely leaning to the over with my score prediction. I might put a little sprinkle on Miami on the money line just because at that spread, the odds are probably going to be about 3-1, I'm guessing. So it might be worth a little long shot play or a little long shot parlay ticket that I like to play. Every week I like to pick 2 to 4 long shots, and I'll put 1 or 2 tickets with 1 to 3 or all 4, depending on 2 and 2, depending on how I feel about each one of them. Obviously not 1 if it's a parlay, but I like doing that, picking 4 favorite long shots that could hit, even though I might not be picking them or like them on the majority of my bets, especially not the bigger money bets. I also in this game like Tyreek Hill, anytime TD. Hunter wins you 137. Both Allen and Tua to pass for more than 1.5 touchdowns in this game. And like I said, I like the Bills to win by 3 or 4 points in this one. Miami to keep it close, although that heat in Miami could be an issue for the Bills early on in the season. It does get really humid, which makes it a little harder to breathe, especially for some of the bigger linemen on the team. And that, man, just enjoy that game. Raiders -2 in Tennessee, +2 over under 45.5. Titans O-line woes, oh my goodness, they're way worse than I thought. I thought they'd be able to hold up enough to create at least a bit of a hole for Henry to break through, or for Tannehill to at least get some little passes off, but they have been absolutely horrendous through the first 2 weeks. These two teams are the two biggest disappointments to me. Although Tennessee, I still think, will win their division by at least 2 or 3 games over the next closest opponent, which will probably be the Colts in the end, even though Jacksonville's out to an early lead in there. Therefore, I think this game is such a must-win situation for the Raiders. They must get Davante Adams, Renfrow. When does Renfrow drop 2 passes in a game, let alone 2 key ones like last week? But anyways, I'm going to stay right away from this game, even though I think the Raiders' desperation will help them get the win and eke this one out in the end. I like Henry over 83.5 rushing yards. Davante Adams over 83.5 receiving yards. Henry an anytime TD, and Adams an anytime TD as well. I think this is going to be a 27-24 Raiders victory. Raiders need this win because that AFC West is done for them if they lose this game and drop to 0-3. And only 4 teams out of like 159, 160, somewhere around there, it's a large number, it's like 2% or 4%, have ever fucking started 0-3 and made the playoffs, at least going back that number of games. Baltimore -3 at New England +3. This is my favorite game of the week. Over under 44. Patriots are 17-3 straight up in home opener since 2002. Well, how many of those were Brady Belichick? All except for the last 2 or 3, whatever it's been. Obviously, the Ravens beat up secondary, got picked on in the fourth quarter by Tua last week, blew that big lead. New England can't do that, though. New England has no weapons to keep up with Baltimore. I think the Ravens bounce back in a big way. I like this to be like a 42-10 thumping of the Patriots in New England. I think Lamar Jackson goes off. J.K. Dobbins, hopefully he is back this week and can help that Baltimore running game and help with them play action passes, set up Lamar a little bit easier for RPOs, play action, whichever may be. Free him up for running the ball as well a little more if Dobbins was in the lineup. J.K. Dobbins return, I mentioned. Lamar Jackson, anytime TD, over 214 passing yards, over 51.5. I wish it was 5.5. Over 51.5 rushing yards, over 270 passing rushing yards combined, and over 1.5 TD passes. Lamar Jackson, I like a lot this week, if you couldn't tell. Baltimore, like I said, win and cover easily. Double-digit victory for them. I don't think New England gets over 17 points. Cincinnati -6 at the New York Jets. Big comeback win over Cleveland last week. Over under set at 45. Jets haven't been above 500 since they won the season opener, not the home opener, sorry. The season opener in 2018. That's a long time to not be over 500. Poor Jets fans. Jets are a team that I do cheer for when the Eagles are not playing. One of the many that I cheer for when the Eagles aren't playing. This game says, don't waste your money. Don't spend your money on this game. I don't. Cincinnati's woes. Joe Burrow, how healthy is he? That offensive line has been, like, talk about the Titans' offensive line. Hasn't been as bad as the Bengals' offensive line has been so far this year. I don't know what to do in this game. I think that this is going to be a Cincinnati win and a Jets cover most likely. Cincinnati could blow them out. It wouldn't surprise me. The Jets could pull another upset win. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not going to touch this game at all. This is an in-game bet for me. If anything, it's probably a completely stay away. For this video, I will pick Cincinnati to win 21-17, 17-14. And again, if Burrow's healthier this week, then Cincinnati should be able to take care of business. I just don't trust that O-line. He's been sacked way too many fucking times through 2 weeks again, just like last year. I think he could get hit like 90 times, sacked 90 times this year if this keeps up. It's absolutely dreadful the job they did to protect such a good quarterback. And he's one of the toughest fucking quarterbacks too. That man plays through so many fucking injuries. Man, I wish they'd help you out, Burrow. I really do. Detroit +6 at Minnesota -6. Over under 52.5. How is this number so high? The final scores in the two games last year, both games were settled by 2 points. Detroit won one in the last minute of play by 2 points. Minnesota won the other game in the last minute, last play of the game by 2 points. Amon St. Brown has 8+ receptions in 8 straight games. 9 in a row would set an NFL record. Dalvin Cook was held to 17 rushing yards versus the Eagles. I think he's going to get a little bit of revenge against Detroit. Detroit got carved up on the ground by Philadelphia. And I think Minnesota can present a similar attack as Philly did and present the Lions trouble. But I think the Lions can also cause the Vikings defense with their offense, especially with St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. Sorry, I gapped on his name for a second there. I think. Oh, one more stat. Versus the Lions, Cook has 6 TDs, rushing TDs that is, and averages 106 rushing yards per game, and that's in 6 career games versus Detroit. I like Detroit to cover this for sure. That number is way too high for a divisional battle, especially two teams. The way Minnesota played so far this year and compared to the way Detroit's played so far this year, I don't know how anyone is going to be betting Minnesota to win by at least a touchdown. That's way too high for a division game, even if these teams weren't both sitting at 1-1 records. Way too many points for me. I think this is going to be a much closer game. I'm definitely going to have Detroit on an upset ticket, but I do think Minnesota can pull out the home victory and win this game by a field goal. I think this score is going to be somewhere around Minnesota, Detroit. It could be like a 31-28, just as easy as a 42-40 type game. I'll go with 31-28 for Minnesota to win it on a last-second field goal again. Justin Jefferson over 97.5 receiving yards. Dalvin Cook over 18.5 receiving yards. Goff over 1.5 TD passes. Jefferson an anytime TD. Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime TD as well. Final 3 games of week 3. Saints -2.5 at Carolina +2.5 over under a 41. The New Orleans defense is the best part of this game. Don't bet on it if you want my opinion. I won't be betting on it. Winston's battling injuries. I lean Saints because of their defense. Low scoring game, 2017, something like that. I really, just a stay away game from me. I don't know what to expect out of either of these teams. If you guys have a strong read on either of these teams, by all means, go ahead, bet them. These are not too, this is just not a game I'm going to play. I'm going to pick Saints to win and barely cover. I like them to win by a field goal. And I think that the over-under number is pretty damn close, so I won't be touching that one at all. This is a good game to keep an eye on for in-game betting, though. Games like this are the ones I pay the most attention to in-game. Once the game started and really play off the way the things start out and the numbers change, because you can really hit a good number and even win money betting on both teams if the number jumps enough or one team gets out to like a 10-point lead. You can always hedge that with the other team and then hope that it falls somewhere in between that number. I like doing in-game betting on games that I don't like that one a lot. Houston +3 at Chicago -3. This is another game in-game betting that I'll be looking at. Texans are 4-1 against spread versus the Bears the last 5. Unders 4-1 the last 5 these two teams have played. Two bad teams. And here's a crazy stat for you. Every team in the NFL has at least 28 pass completions. The Chicago Bears have 26 passing attempts. How the fuck can you judge Justin Fields if you're only letting him throw the ball 13 fucking times a game? And it's not like any of them are in a row. How sporadic is it? How can he form any opinion or get the reps that he needs to be your starting quarterback if you're only letting him throw the fucking ball 13 fucking times? He needs to throw the ball to get better. He needs to throw the ball more to get his timing with his receivers. There's so many fucking reasons why he needs to be throwing the ball more than 13 fucking times a game. 2 games, he's had more less passing attempts, than every other team in the fucking league has passing completions. It's absolutely ridiculous how Chicago is running their offense. Their offensive coordinator, whoever's calling the plays on offense, needs to be fucking fired by the Bears right away. They need to unleash Justin Fields and at least see what you fucking have in the kid. If I thought the Bears were going to pass the ball 25 times with Justin Fields, I'd probably be picking them for sure in this game. Right now, I'm just going to make this an in-game play. I'll take under 39 points in this game. I think this might be like a 13-10 Bears win or something like that if they don't let Fields pass the ball more than 13 times again. I think that the Bears are just going to squeak this out by a field goal. I really had to think about that score. I think the under 39, even though that's a low number, I would play it. And that's probably the only bet I'm going to make pre-game. And like I said, this is a game I'll be keeping an eye on in-game for sure. Washington, Philadelphia. Eagles, -6.5 in Washington. Revenge game for Carson Wentz against his old team. Yeah, well,